and €219 million in underpayments is owed to Revenue, but how do you utilise your taxes in order to minimise it? Revenue have contacted some Irish taxpayers this week, requesting them to complete an income tax return for the tax years not filed between 2019 and 2021. And I'm joined now by a Thai-based Irish Tax Rebates accountant, Gerry Scully. Good morning, Gerry.
Good morning, Eoin. Good morning to you and your listeners.
Thanks for joining us on the programme this morning, Gerry. I suppose that the first part of the interview here to start off with is to outline exactly what Revenue is requesting. If somebody has received this information over the last week or so, what are Revenue looking for?
Yeah, so basically in the last week, Eoin, Revenue have sent out what can be called an early Halloween scare to people, basically. And this relates mainly to PAYE workers, effectively. And it comes about because of when COVID came about in March 2020, with the introduction of the pandemic unemployment payment and the temporary wage subsidy scheme to keep people in work. It was rolled out on an emergency basis and the taxes weren't applied correctly. So now people are left nursing underpayments. And Revenue are requesting that people address this matter before the end of October. And come to terms with what the underpayment states.
Now, some people will owe up to €2,500, others will owe less than €1,000, and the underpayment is dependent on whether you return to work in 2020 on the same salary as pre-COVID. How are Revenue going to treat these underpayments?
Look, Revenue have outlined two options, and Revenue are determined it to minimise any hardship. So option one would be they would recoup the underpayment by a reduction of your tax credits over the course of 4 years. So effectively, they'd reduce your tax credits and you'd repay this underpayment via your salary over the course of 4 years. And option two is that you make contact directly with Revenue and you pay Revenue by debit card or cheque payment. You make a partial payment or a full settlement of the liability. That's what Revenue are requesting. But here at Irish Tax Rebates, we're keen to highlight the use of tax credits to either eliminate or reduce your underpayment.
Yeah, because some people who are listening might be unaware of certain tax credits that they're entitled to. So it is about maybe getting in touch with yourselves or getting in touch with Revenue to find out exactly what they're entitled to.
Yeah, basically, they could log on to our website, www.irishtaxrebates.ie, and there's a 60-second form, and we can look over it. Basically, we can go back to 2018. Now, we only have 2 months left to get the 2018 taxes reviewed. The clock is ticking on that one. We can look for overpayments in other years to help out with offsets. And then, there's obviously other tax credits available to people. You're talking medical expenses, the working from home, which has actually increased this year, dependent relative, if you're financially helping out an elderly person. There's nursing home fees, there's a single parent tax credit for single parents that are working, and now there's the recently and welcomed rental tax credit, which can be claimed from January, effectively.
I was having a look at your website there as well, Gerry, before we came on air this morning, and I noticed that Irish Tax Rebates have 6 recommended tax tips to help people. You might just run through some of them for us. Yeah,
well, obviously there's ones that I've just mentioned, them tax credits, but there's also the old reliable flat rate, and like in Kildare, there's engineering works, there's healthcare, there's construction, there's obviously a very strong horse racing industry. All them occupations are entitled to claim a flat rate for provision of uniforms and such, and they can be claimed. Then if you had a recent event in your life like marriage, you could look at joint assessment with your spouse, and coming from that there might be home care's tax credit worth €1,700 a year if there's children and someone's at home minding the children. And then, as mentioned previously, make sure to review all your taxes 2018 to 2021. And also another one is, if people are recently unemployed, changing jobs, or thinking about leaving the country, we can actually review 2022 in real time, that's this year, and maybe obtain a refund. And then one of the final ones I have here is, it's often overlooked, is a pension contribution, an additional voluntary contribution. You get tax relief at 40% on that. So if you contribute an extra bit to your pension, directly via bank account, you get 40% tax relief, which can be used to offset the liability.
All right, and just remind us again then, Gerry, if people want to log on to Irish Tax Rebates website, what steps do they have to follow to get in touch with yourselves and find out more information?
Look, it's very user-friendly, and we've a customer-focused customer service staff. So you log on to the website and you can complete an online form in less than 60 seconds. We can guarantee a 10-day turnaround on getting a response back to you, whether it's advice or a refund, and that's how. And we've 330,000 people nationwide as clients, and we have a staff of 30 here in Athy. So we're well known, and it's across the country. It's a nationwide business based in Athy.
Yeah, super stuff, as we said, and as you've mentioned, they're based in Athy. I'm reliably informed as well that owner Martin Brennan was pretty useful on the wing when he was playing for Athy Rugby Club, so I'm not sure if he gives you any rugby tips there when you're in the office, but you'll have to say that to him as well. Based in Athy, some great advice there from Gerry Scully, accountant with Irish Tax Rebates, and log on to the website in order to get more information there, because there is €219 million in underpayments that are owed to Revenue. But as we have heard, and Gerry, I'm sure you'd echo this as well, that Revenue have said they're going to work with people, and they're not necessarily, while there is pressure in terms of timelines, they're trying to encourage people to sort this out rather than force them.
Yeah, it's a request from Revenue to address this underpayment. And look, if people work with us on it, we can try, like I said, eliminate or partially reduce it, or in 2020, from early 2023, we can look back at 2022 taxes, and there could be offsets or removal of the liability. It's not something to be. You obviously try to address it, but don't be concerned about it. Overly concerned. Revenue, as I said, they're prepared to work with you with the repayment over 4 years to minimise any hardship. So it's just about addressing it. And like I said, there's 280,000 people that this affects, but it originally affected 750,000. So it's just Revenue trying to address the last third of the people effectively. Absolutely.
Good stuff. Listen, thanks for joining us on the programme this morning. That is Gerry Scully, accountant with Irish Tax Rebates, which are based in Athy.